You're listening to the Yucky Mommy Podcast. I'm Jess.
And I'm Holly.
Where we talk about all things motherhood.
On this episode of the Yucky Mommy Podcast, we'll dive into the struggle mothers have with asking for help at times and let you know where Jess and I visited earlier this week.
Listening to the Yucky Mommy Podcast.
We're here.
Hi.
Hi. I just saw you, but
I know.
I mean, the more time we get together, the better, right?
I feel like a lot happens in a week.
1,000%.
Especially when you
in
have
our
kids.
lives.
Like,
maybe not the normal person. I don't know if you're living a boring life, but if you want some entertainment, obviously that's why you're here listening to us, because our lives are not boring.
It is nonstop, and it's constantly changing and evolving every week.
Well, last week we talked about how school was starting, so some normalcy will be coming in, and it's already started. Well, it was supposed to start for Bianca today, but now she's sick. But
okay. So like last week I talked about how my son had an eye infection.
Mm-hmm.
The next day we had to take him to the pediatrician because he was like shivering and had a fever and it wasn't going down. And she was just kind of like, I don't see any other issues with him. It just might be a virus or whatever. Yeah, it'll run its course. But then I ended up calling them the next day and was like, listen,
antibiotics.
I need the antibiotics just in case this is like bacterial. His eye isn't getting better.
And you know, with multiple kids, you always have to be vigilant of that because then the other one can get it.
Exactly.
So if there's like a chance that it's not a virus and it is an infection, like if we can nip it in the bud before it makes its way, like.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, just give me the antibiotic. Then he started getting significantly better by Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Fever went down. Eye looked so much better. He had his first set of classes on Wednesday, and this has been a struggle all summer to decide like what we're going to do with our son for school this year, because we are moving to a different area, and we just kind of have always thought about homeschooling our son.
Yeah.
We tried the public school thing last year. It just really wasn't for us. And so we've decided to homeschool. But I'm calling this like a hybrid homeschool situation because he's going to be going to core classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday, he will be at home with me. He also is going to be doing hockey season starting. So he's also going to be doing that. But so for our county, everybody was starting school, right? Pretty much everybody started on Thursday.
Can we talk about why?
Stupid.
Like, let's be serious. Like, I was driving. Like, thankfully, my kids start on a Tuesday next week. But, like, why would you tease the parents to give them Thursday and Friday? Yeah. Like, only 2 days and then just, like, the weekend. Like, why can't we, like, normalize starting school on a Monday?
I mean, everybody should have been Monday.
1,000%.
Yes.
Like,
so Bianca, get this.
Yeah.
She goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday is today. She was supposed to start school and woke up with a fever.
Wonderful.
So now I'm thinking maybe Sebastian had an eye infection, but also had a viral infection with the fever.
Yeah. And
now I'm finding out all these other kids at hockey have fevers.
Oh, great.
So I'm like, okay, cool. First day of school, I was very sad. Like, we picked out her whole outfit. Aww. Like, she was sad too, but like you could really tell that she just did not feel good. Yeah. And then you give her Motrin, and then she's like, better, fine. You're like, ugh. But you can't take a kid to school on the first day with...
Yeah, not feeling well.
No.
Yeah, definitely. And that, you know, where you talked about where we went this weekend, like, Sebi on Monday was like, so the sun just wore him out. So we went to, we as in Xavier and I are huge Marriott people. Xavier travels a lot, and it was like an inherited situation. As you Marriott goers here on Lit or listening know that, like, Xavier's dad is like this Marriott guy, and then Xavier's now this Marriott guy. So anytime that there's a new Marriott that opens up in the area, you know, you got to be the first one to try it. No, so I saw that a girl in my neighborhood went to this JW Marriott that just opened up in Clearwater. So I told Xavier, and sure enough, the next day he booked it. He's like, we're going. So then I saw Holly, and I was like, hey, come see us before school starts. Let's spend the day. Resort was absolutely beautiful. Like 10 out of 10. The customer service a little slow, but I think that's what happens in that industry. But the rooms, the private beach, the pool, the food, even though it got to a slow, the food was still really good. So the kids were able to enjoy, you know, being that time, having that time together. It.
Yeah,
it was great.
I thought it was really fun. Like, Sebastian was still recovering. I think he was just tired.
In the sun world.
It was very hot. Even today, I walked outside. I'm like, when will this end?
Our nanny, UV, which you guys were hearing me talk about her, she told me that she's been reading these articles. I don't know where she gets her stuff from. It said that we're about to have the coldest winter that Florida has ever experienced.
I read that also.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
So
it was like a news report.
Yeah, so I don't know where she gets her stuff from, what Spanish station she gets her stuff from. So sometimes it's not as credible. But if you heard it too, which I feel like that sometimes happens with whole climate change in the world and whatever. I feel like when you have something extreme like this, it's also going to be extreme the other way.
Yeah.
I was just hoping it wasn't extreme that we're going to have like crazy hurricanes. Yeah.
Well, did you see what happened in Maui?
So sad.
I mean, devastating.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I donated to Baby this morning.
Love it. It's amazing. Yeah,
because they take care of people when tragedies like that happen,
like
and families and children.
Yeah, it's an honorable page that you
can help. That's so sad.
It is.
It's tragic. Just an entire
city and
like that.
Yeah,
and you know what? I think fires are more scary than hurricanes.
1000%. But go to So I lived in California. I don't know if you knew this. I lived in California for 6 months when I was working on a project. Mm-hmm. And these kids, I was working on a university housing, whatever. And they're like, how do you live in Florida? Like hurricanes? I'm like, how do you live here? You have earthquakes and wildfires. Oh, and not to mention I'm in San Diego, so you're on the San Andreas Fault. So if the world decides that it just wants to shake a little bit, like, oh, you're gone. They think it's wild that we're okay with
I think
hurricanes.
I mean, they are very scary and detrimental, but we have time to prepare.
You have, what's coming. I mean, these weather reporters can kind of be a little, but I mean, let's be serious. You're just sitting here right now and the earth just shakes under you, or a fire. Like,
the fire just spreads so fast and it's hard to get out, I feel like. And then there's traffic trying to get out. And I mean, the same thing for here, but I feel like we're days out where they're just like
a minute,
hours. Yeah. Nothing.
And you don't even know. And it's so scary. I mean, natural disasters just in general. Like I know am a heavy thinker. So like, I always just think about stuff like that, but
I know
it's wild.
Yeah.
Wild. So about this weekend, I was one kid down. So Xander, not this weekend, when we went to JW, I know last week I mentioned about Xander's surgery. And I said that he was doing good. He was doing good, but days 1, 2, and 3 are good. And then it seemed my parents so kindly took Xander last Saturday after we recorded. They took him to West Palm Beach for 6 days to kind of just recover, because my first child and my third child are just wild. So they weren't really like aware of what was going on. Like, we can't just throw balls. We can't just have Xander jumping, So my mom was like, hey, we'll take him. So days 1, 2, and 3 were fine, but day 4, 5, and 6 were a little dicey at night. But now he's fine. I think the whole healing process, it's when you research and you read about it, it's a scab in there and that like starts to heal. And then just like when you fall, and it's like open wound. And then as soon as you start getting that part off, it kind of, so he's a lot better.
He's back with you now.
Yeah, he's back. I had to sleep with him last night because my mom like slept with him the whole time that she was there, because she was waking him up every 4 to 5 hours to give him the medication. And now he is fully potty trained, but when you have 3 kids, I was still putting nighttime pull-up diapers on him at night. But now he's completely no more. So she was able to do that because she would wake him up to go to the bathroom. So it was like a good thing. But then last night he woke up at 10:30. So we took him to the bathroom. He woke up at 1:30, and at 1:30 he was like crying hysterical for my mom to want to sleep with him. And I didn't want to go downstairs to wake up my mom, even though she's like was upset this morning that I didn't wake her up. I'm like, you need your sleep. I need you to be, on it.
Yeah.
So I slept with him, and he moves. He's just like Zuri, like I was telling you. Like, I was that kid in my family that nobody, like when we went on trips, nobody wanted to sleep with me because I was kicking and moving. I'm sure you guys all have that one kid. Well, I have 2. So maybe when they go on trips, they should just sleep together and just have an all-out battle in the bed.
Is Zeke just a log?
Zeke just stays still. Zeke is literally like, you could literally go in his room and he's just like doesn't move. Does not move.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
Bianca's a mover. All night.
It's wild.
Yeah, starts in her bed and then makes her way into our bed. Nick and I are both too tired to take her back.
Yeah, of course.
But when we move into our new house, we got to lay the law down and we got to be a little sleep deprived.
Yeah, for sure. Really, but it'll be worth it. Like a 7-day sleep deprivation will be worth it. I mean, we did that when the kids were 3 months. We did the whole
Mine's 5, almost 5. So.
Yeah, all of ours were sleep.
Well, I'm glad Xander's feeling better.
Yeah, thank God, because that's, you don't like
yucky.
to see it. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but he's good, and
we had a great time with the JW Marriott too.
Awesome time. It was
I have like a really random question for you.
Random? Give it to me. I like random questions. I don't know where this is going.
I'm just wondering, like, how long did it take you to find your wedding dress? And I'll tell you why. Because I went shopping with my sister for her wedding dress randomly. Like 2 weeks ago, she was like, this boutique wedding place is having, wedding dress place is having a sale. Today's the final day. Will you come down here with me? I just want to look.
Okay.
So she tried a few dresses on, but like it literally took, I thought it was going to take way longer. And it literally took her, I don't know, hour and a half. And she picked the first one that she tried on.
Yeah. How long did it take you?
It didn't take me that long. But I was also like really pregnant.
Okay.
I was probably like 7 months pregnant. Yeah.
So you knew what you needed and what you
desired. Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to get a dress. And in 10 years, I'm going to have like
a full out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. When is your 10 year?
In like 4 years.
So when year did you get married?
August 20th. 2016.
Oh, so you're right. Same year as us.
Yeah.
I'm December 16th, 2016. So it took me 15 minutes to pick out my wedding dress. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the opposite.
I know.
Like knowing you, I was like, maybe it took her a lot longer.
No. So I went with Berta. Don't judge me. Yes, I spent a lot of money on my wedding dress, but I had a picture of what I wanted, like this one dress.
You knew.
So I knew. So Xavier was in spring training at the time. And I remember it was March. I got proposed to in December, and it was actually maybe even February. And I remember my mom was working at the time. So I didn't even go with my mom. Like my best friend, maid of honor at that time, went with me. So we drove to Miami to Chic Parisian. And I was like, I'm just going to try on. My mom's working. Xavier's at practice. Like, let's just go to Miami for lunch and go try on a wedding dress. And I remember I felt super guilty because I showed them the picture. They're like, yeah, we have it. And at first they brought me out what they thought it was. And I was like, this is definitely not it, but do you have it? So I tried on like 3 dresses, and then she brought out the dress that I wanted, and that was it. And I called my mom. I'm like,
it's so easy.
I called my mom like, sorry, I'm buying my wedding dress and you're not here. She's like, whatever you want. She's like, do you need my card? My mom's very like, just whatever.
I love that.
So yeah. And that was it. I didn't even look back.
Did you do a lot of research prior?
No.
Obvious. No.
I knew the designer I wanted. There was no wavering from Berta. I knew that I wanted a Berta dress. And no, I did not.
Great. Okay. I just expecting a different answer.
I know. Everyone kind of did, but that's how my whole wedding went. I closed my eyes. I hired my wedding planner, closed my eyes. She was sitting next to me. Xavier was playing for the Marlins at the time. We ended up getting married in Miami as well. And I'll never forget, we had a wedding venue picked out that I knew that I wanted since I was a kid. But then when we went to go see it, it was not practical for my elderly members, like my grandma. It was Vizcaya is where I was going to get married. But it was a really long walk. And then it was like 20 steps up. There was no ramp. So we ended up getting married at a Villa Woodbine in Miami. But I remember my wedding planner was like sitting across from me. It was like Xavier and I and her assistant. And I just like closed my eyes. I was like, this is what I see. And that was it. And I let her, and me, the control freak.
Really?
I let her just take it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. I was just wondering. And your friend is getting married too. So
yeah, it's funny. That's why I was a little late to record this. So she's eloping. She's been married or engaged now for like a year and a half. She got engaged in Lake Como. So they decided that they wanted to go back to Italy to elope. It took time to get her here to just make this decision.
Yeah.
She's completely opposite. I know what I want. She just was like, whatever. So yeah, so I was there at her office, and she's eloping like the first 2 weeks of October. So we're going to go.
But isn't that so funny? I feel like since COVID, my sister told me, like when we were wedding dress shopping, that she wants to elope.
Yeah.
I feel like because of COVID, there's just like this new wave of how people want to have their weddings.
Yeah, I agree.
More like smaller, more intimate, where they want to, somewhere cool, somewhere different than where they're from.
Yeah. I would have loved a small wedding.
Yeah.
Xavier would have loved an 800 people wedding and believe it, which is completely opposite.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go have a small wedding, like elope somewhere, do that. And he was just not about that.
Yeah.
He wanted to have everybody under the sun at our wedding.
Yeah. I just feel like times are changing.
For sure.
Like right now, like it's always changing. Like the trends are always changing. But I also saw like private baby gender reveals are like becoming a thing.
Did you do gender reveals?
I didn't find out the gender for either of my children. So I told Nick, if I have a third at some point in the future, I am finding out.
You didn't. I'm jealous. I would have loved to be. We were supposed to do that with Zuri.
No, I didn't find out.
This may be a good moment to show a really cool video of our our gender reveal with Zuri, which was like the coolest thing ever.
It was really pretty.
And Zeke's actually was really cool, and Xander's was really cool.
And I really wanted to do it for Bianca, but I got past, when you get past like a certain point, I think it was like 15, 16 weeks. I was kind of like, I don't really care anymore. But I also, with my son, I just knew I was having a boy.
You did.
In my heart, I was like, yeah, it's a boy. Like, I just knew.
So it's funny. I had gender disappointment with Xander completely. That's why I did not want to find out the gender with Zuri, because I was scared that if I had another boy that I would just like be, not that like 3 boys, I mean 3 boys would have been absolutely wild, but I just didn't want to find out. But Xavier is not a surprise kind of person.
No.
So
well, in Sweden, they don't usually find out.
Well, my mom didn't find out. I don't know if your parents did, but my parents didn't find out.
I think my parents did.
That wasn't a thing.
But, you know, at that time, though, when I was pregnant with my son, like the huge gender reveals were like a thing. So I was really sad that I was kind of sad that I didn't, but I also like our pregnancy was a little different too. So with my daughter, I kind of wanted to have that big one.
So then how was that moment?
When you find out?
Like when they, like when you give birth.
I'm going to be honest. Like I truly, like my intuition, I'm being so for real. Like if they would have pulled out
a girl,
Sebastian, it was a girl, I would have been like, what?
Yeah.
The heck?
Okay. So you knew. How about with B?
In my heart, I just knew. I knew, but I sometimes would have like question it.
Okay.
But I kind of was figuring it was a girl.
Yeah. I thought Xander was going to be a girl, which is why I had the gender disappointment. But we, with Zeke, I knew it was a boy because I remember seeing the sonogram and being like, if that's a girl, we got problems.
No, yeah. Like I was just thinking about it the other day and I'm just like, I feel like I see a trend, a shift happening where people probably because of COVID, like the lockdown and everything, like people are just choosing to be more intimate with their reveals and their weddings and these personal moments. And I kind of like it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we went all out for Zeke. We did a whole fireworks show for New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve. We had just moved into our house 10 days prior. I'm crazy. I was pregnant. Just moved into our house on whatever. 10 days. It was literally, we moved in on like December 20th. 11 days later, my mom's like, are you crazy? I had a full-on party and a huge fireworks show to do the gender. Literally.
Like at your house or like over the water?
We walked out and it was over the water.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
See, that's why I'm so surprised that you're like, I already knew what I wanted for my, like it just, I knew. Yeah. Like easy. Like the wedding process was easy.
Easy.
I don't know.
But I think it's because with big moments, I don't know. I like to give up control because I know that if I get really in the nitty gritty, if I was like, I need to know everything, especially with the wedding, that I would have drove myself crazy. And I told myself and I prayed about enjoying the experience. I did not want to be a bridezilla. And I was actually the complete opposite.
It's amazing.
Like I was as calm as a cucumber. My friends till this day are like, I think like someone overtook your body on your wedding because you were so calm.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. No, I was kind of like, I'm that way. This is like two different spectrums, but I'm that way about cleaning my car.
Oh yeah. I feel like we just had this discussion.
Like I literally cleaned my car yesterday and I was like, I can't get too into this because you
won't stop.
I won't stop. And I wanted to keep going, but I was like, I need to stop. Yeah. Good thing I had my kids with me because they were like, Mom, this is so boring. Can't you do this on a day that we're not here? I'm like, no, this is a part of life. Yeah. This is learning. This is a learning experience.
Yeah.
One day you're going to have to clean your car.
For sure.
And then today, I feel like every time I get out of my car, I smell like a teenage boy from the 2000s that sprayed way too much Abercrombie on themselves because they gave us these 2 like refreshers from the car wash by your house.
Say the hockey equipment.
That's another thing. I'm not looking forward to that.
No, that can segue into our next conversation here in a second.
Yeah, no, but then they gave us these 2
air fresheners.
Yes, and the kids were like, "Can we open them?" I'm like, "Sure." Like, just put them underneath the chairs.
Axe.
Oh my word, the car smells like Abercrombie or whatever it is.
Migraine.
Axe. Yeah,
migraine. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that kind of like walks us into the next thing where we just talked about the hockey equipment. I know that hockey is starting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like the train of thought with moms and dads, whoever is listening here. Like, do you guys allow your kids to do all the extracurriculars, or are we setting limits, especially at the age that our kids are at? Because I know there's going to come a day when like they're 13 and 14 and 15 and it's going to be an all-star practice every single day and this and that. Like, are we limiting or are we not? Because
I feel like at this age that our kids are at, we have that power where we can choose, pull the reins back a little bit and be like, okay, we can do this, this, and this. Obviously, we don't want our kids to just do nothing.
Right.
Because, but because usually for a hockey season, a usual organization would be 2 days a week.
Okay.
That's what he did last year. This year, the organization that we're a part of decides that they want to do 3 days a week. And that was another factor into the homeschooling situation, because I was like, how would a first grader be able to do all of this and not be burnt out by the end of the week? Like, this is crazy.
Right.
So for me, I feel like he's set for the fall because hockey season's wild. And then my daughter, though, I mean, she's only going 3 days a week, and I'm thinking about signing her up for dance again.
Right.
But I have to pick the days, and we're also homeschooling. So I'm like, kind of want them to do like an art class and a piano class. So
indoor stuff, because it's hot as heck here.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to sign her up for soccer, but I'm like, I can't do it. That's why hockey's a great sport in Florida, guys.
It is.
If you're thinking about moving here and you want to play hockey.
Yeah. No, so our school, the Christian Academy, they can do this stuff at school. So like they do soccer at school, they can do gymnastics, they can even do Zumba, they can do basketball, they can do everything. But I also want them to do stuff out of school. And for us, like, education is number one. So like they're doing tutoring again. I'm doing it starting out right now only 1 time a week. Last year we did 2 times a week. So we're starting out 1 time a week, but right now they have Tuesdays gymnastics. So then this morning I asked Xavier's like, what are we doing for baseball? Because today's the last day to register. So I just registered Zeke for coach pitch. So
what is that?
Like, it's no more like hitting off a tee. Like, a coach is pitching.
Oh.
And that's 6 years old. So he's playing up.
Oh.
Xavier's like, no, he's totally capable. Like, put him in coach pitch. Now Xander, we're opting not to do baseball for Xander this year because he would have to do t-ball. And it's fine. He could do that. But I asked him, I gave him the choice. Do you want to do baseball or karate? And I have a Miles Morales on my hands, and he just jumps and goes everywhere. So karate is what he chose.
He chose that.
Yeah. So we're going to sign him up. I'll probably wait until he's a month post-surgery to at least sign him up. So then we chose that. So they're going to have tutoring on Wednesdays. I don't even know when baseball practice is going to be. I'm hoping it's Thursday.
See, that was my issue in the spring.
I don't know.
Didn't know the schedule. So I'm like, because I would love for Sebastian to do baseball, but I was like, we're a hockey family.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I would love for him to do it, but I don't know the schedule.
Yeah, so if it does happen to be on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and I have to adjust that whole
And Jess, how are we juggling all of these things?
I need 12 more hands.
Right? Like, it's hard.
It is.
It's hard to schedule.
It is.
I mean, you are a good scheduler, but when you add in all of these things and you're trying to get back into like a routine, I feel like a lot of the time it usually always falls on the mom.
Yep.
And then we're like, someone gets sick and you're, working moms really deal with it all the time. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I have that flexibility where I can stay home with my kids, but it's also just
a lot.
It's hard even when you're home.
Yeah. So that kind of is a great kind of talk track. And I think it's a lot of things that moms can relate to, where I feel like there is 2 trains of thoughts. Like in baseball, I've seen both, where moms that, Xavier was playing, I think that was 2016 with the Marlins and this family. We were in New Orleans, and she's like, her son was like 8 months old, and she's like, I haven't gotten my nails done, but I haven't never left my kid.
Yeah.
And he was 8 months, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'll never be a mom like that. Like, I always need to make time for myself. And then God was like, well, you're going to deliver a baby in another country, and we're going to figure that out. But I can get to that. But I remember being like she was just exhausted. I remember. Yeah. And I was like, listen, I asked her, because she made that comment. She's like, my nails. And I was like, when's the last time? She's like, oh, before I gave birth. And I was like, can I watch him for like 45 minutes? And she was kind of like taken back, because as moms, we don't ask for help. So I asked her, I was like, can I watch your kid? Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah. And she didn't know how to act. And I was like, I got it. And sure enough, we were able to make that happen. And I remember thinking kids do change our lives. But we can't ever lose sight of going to make a 30-minute appointment to get our nails done. If you have that. And we've been blessed. So when I gave birth to Zeke right before, I knew that I was going to have a nanny. I knew that in Korea I was having a nanny because I was in another country. My mom was only there for a certain amount of time. And we had the privilege and we were blessed enough to be able to find an agency through our organization, through our team. We interviewed and we found a match and she was amazing. She came to our house Monday through Saturday from 12 to 6, I remember. And she was a blessing to us. But right before she was supposed to start, I remember I gave birth to Zeke July 5th and she was supposed to start July 1st or June 5th. I gave birth June 5th. She was supposed to start July 1st. I remember looking at my mom, I was like, I can't have someone else helping me. Like, I don't know how to relinquish that control. Yeah. Again, I'm a control freak. Yeah. She's like, you must. She's like, you're here by yourself. I'm not here. 14-hour time difference. Can't call me. You can call me, obviously, but like, so I went with it and it was the best decision. And then when we got back from Korea, Judith, our nanny that has been with us now in October, will be 5 years. She was with me the first week that I came home from Korea.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, especially if you go 8 months or like you continue to go as long, and you don't get a break and you don't make that time or you don't have the help, especially in that situation that your friend had, it was kind of like that for me. Like my husband was gone all the time, especially during hockey season. And I'm by myself and I didn't have a nanny. I didn't really have any help. So it's like, you get so frustrated with yourself
and like and everything. And then everything
like pours.
The kids,
yeah. And I remember just feeling so bad. Like, this isn't me.
Right.
I don't want to be like this.
I know.
I wish I had help. But also when you get that help, right?
It's not your way. Sometimes.
You really have to like, let go of that
be okay with
control
for sure.
Be okay with however they are going to watch them, but also just like trusting a babysitter.
1000%.
I know a lot of moms that have never had a babysitter.
And I try to like understand and really relate. But again, I'm also an exception. I've been very lucky. Like we found that I'm Cuban, our nanny is Cuban. That was what was important to me and my family, like the foundation of how we run our household. I know Xavier thinks we're crazy, but like that was like that cultural effect is what I needed. But I remember thinking like, I also have to ask for help because when I had Zeke and my in-laws came, I remember like, I don't ask and I don't ask my mom
because you don't want to be a burden,
right?
You don't want to like burden them with stuff.
I don't feel like if I'm a new mom,
yes,
I shouldn't have to be like, hey, can you clean your coffee mug in the sink? Oh, I'm wiping a butt or have a kid on my
I agree.
Breastfeeding.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that also is something that we have to work on because that mom, you know, I love her dearly to this day. Like I had to ask her, you know, because she's not going to ask me. So I was like, I'm just going to mighty up the courage to ask you if I can watch your kid. And she was like, at first she was like taken back.
She was probably so grateful.
Yeah. She went and got her nails done. It was
here's
like 40
another
minutes.
thing you got like, I also feel like people, especially with a first child, family that doesn't live near you,
for sure.
They want to come visit you, like right when you have the baby.
For sure.
I feel like you need to set a boundary. And I feel like as a new mom, you don't really know. You're thinking that it's going to be a good thing, but it might just cause
more stress,
anxiousness.
Yeah.
Like if that person or those people that are coming to stay with you aren't helpful, you know, they're not cleaning or whatever it is, like things that. Then why are you there?
Yeah, because let's be honest, with the newborn, it's really hard for anybody else to interject. If you're, especially like if you're nursing or if you just want to sleep, like the baby wants you. So really like what we need you for is to make sure I'm eating and make sure there's all the dirty diapers that are like, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really hard. But I think we discussed this on one of the other podcasts, like where Xavier and I made it known that we're going to take trips. We're going to ask for help. We're going to do those things.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it's taken me a long time to get there just because I didn't have the help.
Right.
But like usually like back in the day, everybody just lived in the same area.
I know.
Like now we're like all moving. I know. Which I mean, I didn't want to stay where I'm from.
Right.
At all. But at the same time, those were the people that you relied on.
Same.
And that was just the way of life.
For sure. Like
the cycle of life.
For sure. Like I lived 15 minutes from both my grandparents, you know, and my parents like went on trips and it was like the grandparents. You didn't have to outsource, go to an app and try to find a babysitter. Like that just wasn't the thing. You know, you had a circle or a village of people that.
Yes.
Yeah. And now everybody kind of does their own thing.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, you're lucky if you do have that village. I feel like in like professional sports,
for sure,
that is your village.
For
like
sure.
Those wives, those girlfriends,
for sure,
those people that you're left with, because you're all from like different places.
Right, but you all get it.
Yeah.
It's like an unspoken situation. Like this chick was like at the baseball game looking at her nails with a crying baby, like stressed out. And I'm like, girl, go get your nails painted.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember I walked into a tennis lesson for my daughter one day, and the tennis coach looked at me and was like, I mean, she was older at this point, but it's still hard, 22 months apart. And he looked at me, he goes, why do you look so tired?
oh, Lord.
I
Let
said,
me tell you.
I know that did not just come out of your mouth.
Right.
Don't
For
ever
sure.
ask
Yeah.
a woman why she's tired while she has kids.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why do you look tired?
Yeah. Why are you tired?
Oh, and I also, it's so funny. Like, I remember pre-kids being tired. Be like, I'm so tired.
Let's have that conversation. I'm
and
tired
then
from binge
you have your
Netflix.
baby and you're like, never sleeping.
Yeah,
you're
no.
never sleeping again.
No, my mom says like, Jess, you're 34 and I still don't really sleep.
Yeah.
Because I'm still like worried about you. I'm like,
and,
I'm good.
And her grandchildren.
Yeah. Let's, Lord, my dad like will text me like, are you home? Are you almost home? Is the alarm on? Is your door locked?
It's nice.
It is.
But you're also 34.
It is. I'm not a baby, but it's
No.
all right. I mean, I'm thankful for my village, and I never take it for granted. And I don't want anyone to think here that I sound privileged, but this was a priority as a family, and we made sure that we made this a priority with Xavier's, career and then post-career. And I work. I don't know if we really talked about that a lot, but like I'm a work from home, stay at home mom.
Yeah.
Which people may not think that's crazy, but that is, or difficult, but that is probably more difficult because I'm trying to reach a number and have a conversation with an adult, and then my son's coming in telling me he has to poop.
Right.
I mean, you have 2 other adults in this house, or 3, 4 sometimes. Sometimes it's my dad, Xavier, Judith, and my mom, and they still got to come find me to tell me that he needs to go poop. I'm like,
yeah, and I feel like a lot of people got a taste of that during the pandemic.
for sure.
And I also feel like people, because I brought up homeschool earlier, got a really false sense of homeschool because nothing was open. Like that's not homeschooling. Like being at home, confined to your home, not being able to go do anything or get, go on an adventure.
Right.
That's not homeschooling. And I also feel like that's just, it's hard to work from home, have children at home. That's why it's taking me so long to actually, like, I feel like I did everything opposite. Right. I had my kids and now I'm starting my career, but it's really hard to start the career. I don't want to say I don't recommend, but it would probably have been better to wait to have kids because then you have that foundation. Yeah. Not saying that you can't do it because I'm here and I'm doing it, but it is difficult. It is, sure. It's hard to balance it all. And I feel like a lot of it, I feel like the default parent a lot of the time, because like what I bring in probably isn't as much as like, of course, what he brings in. Right. So if he has to go do something for work, whatever I had planned, it doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. It's
always the same situation. I'm like, I have a work call. He's like, well, I have to be on live TV.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
It's the same.
And because we're the mom.
Right. It's just, well, I have to cancel my work call or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't think that that's very
fair. But I understand how it is. It is. And it's fine. But sometimes I'm like,
it's a lot.
It is.
And then even today, I had a meeting this morning that I was supposed to go to.
Oh, yeah. And
I couldn't go.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry, but like, I can't go to this meeting.
Right.
And obviously that person was very understandable, but it's just moments like that where your child is sick.
Yep.
Obviously I want to be with my child and like make sure that they're okay. But there's also like, you make these schedules, you make these plans, and within 24 hours, it changed.
And we wear it.
Yeah.
And we just do it. And I feel like
so much happens
for sure
within that time.
I mean, again, like we can go back into like the old days and all of that, but it was put on us for a reason because we can handle it. Yeah. Let's be serious. Like I give Xavier 3 tasks and
maybe one gets done.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that, it was given to us and we bared children and we were able to do this gift because he knows that
we can handle it.
Yeah.
I know.
Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Like he knows that we can really handle it. So
I know. Did you have like a yucky mommy moment that you wanted to share?
Yeah. So I think I said it for a second. My yucky mommy moment was feeling a little bit guilty that I only had 2 kids for like 6 days, you know, and it was kind of easy. And I don't want to say that because Xander is my easiest kid.
Yeah.
And he was gone. But it was kind of easy. And that it just made me feel guilty in a sense that like, you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm sure moms can relate to this. Where like Zuri was an oopsies, okay? Like Zuri was, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but Zuri was a birth control baby, okay? I was taking birth control. I was taking the pill. Like we were not trying to have a baby at that time. We knew that if we were supposed to have 3, whatever, but I was not trying to have a kid at that time. So like life was getting kind of simple, you know, like you have the 2 boys are 15 months apart, but like he likes cars and he likes cars. It was it, you know? And then we had the baby. So, I mean, which is fine. Don't ever take that the wrong way. I would never change a thing. But then when you have 2 out of your 3 kids and you're like on a vacation, you're like, wow, like this is pretty simple. Easy. You know? So like I felt kind of guilty, but I'm so happy that when we got home yesterday, he came home like an hour or on, was that yesterday? No, he got home yesterday. I'm sorry. We got back Wednesday. He was supposed to come back. But yeah, I felt kind of guilty and that made me feel a little bit yucky. I feel like
a lot of moms feel that way.
Of course. I know.
Yeah. Like I feel guilty today, like leaving Bianca at home.
I know.
And now my son's, you know, hanging out with his friend.
Right.
And like she was supposed to come, but now she can't.
I know.
You know.
I know.
I feel like a lot of moms feel like that.
Of course. Mom guilt is real. Like, do dads feel dad guilt?
I don't know. I don't think my husband does.
No, I don't think Xavier does either. Sorry, babe.
You know what else that I just thought of? My husband, like if I'm like, I'm going out on a girl's dinner. He'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to go do something. I'm like, why?
It's not tit for tat.
Stay home.
Yeah, right.
Like, can you just stay home?
I know.
But he's always been that kind of person.
See, Xavier's opposite. He's like, go, I got it.
That's how I feel.
Go, I got it. And you know what Xavier does? He puts tape on the camera so I can't even see. So like when I've left,
he knows that you're watching.
I've left the kids. I've gone on girls trips and I'm like, my mom will come. He's like, absolutely not. And he will handle all 3, or at that point, I think it was the 2 boys, and he covers all of the cameras. Like he does not want me. He's like, you don't need to worry about it. He's like, take the apps off. I'm going to unplug them. Like, you don't need to see what's going on here.
I mean, that's kind of nice.
It is. He's great. He doesn't complain about anything. It just is not done my way. So I'm always like, complaining. What was your yucky mommy moment?
Well, because we're starting school and we're getting back into the hang of things, swing of things. My daughter Bianca has always been a snacker, I have big snacker.
Yeah, I have 2 of them. I mean, all my kids,
but like Sebastian, maybe because he was the firstborn and I really like
honed in on,
helped him out, you know, like eating 3 meals a day, like really eating. And then with the second, they were so close in age. I was just kind of like, the whole schedule is falling apart. I don't even care anymore. Like whatever makes you guys happy, maybe. But we were in Sweden and my kids, I'm not even kidding you, probably had 2 ice creams a day.
That's all right. See, like I'm like, you're probably like Xavier. Xavier's like, absolutely not.
I mean, Nick's worse than me.
Oh,
he's worse than me. But I was like, at some point we can't have 2 ice creams a day. So I've literally been for the last 3 weeks weaning my children off of sugar and snacking.
Well, the school will help with that. Like my kids this morning were hungry at like 9 a.m. and I'm like thinking like when they go to school, it's going to be like regimented again. The summer's a little, I mean, I understand our kids are busy. Our kids are active. If they're eating 2 ice creams, they're burning 8 ice creams. I mean, let's be serious. So like I try to remember that they're kids. Xavier's very like, you already had 1 Oreo. You don't need to eat 2. And then I'm just like,
I mean, I'm kind of like
just
that.
Eat the Oreo so you stop crying, like whatever, you know? But then I realize like that sometimes is not the best.
Yeah.
But I know that it's a summertime thing because when school starts, they're not going to have yogurts and Oreos and everything just at their disposal, you know?
Like yesterday I was like, no, you guys have to eat your food. Like I spent time making this meal for you.
Yeah.
Especially my daughter. My son, he's a really good listener. That's partially why I'm homeschooling him and not her.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But he, she's just like a snack monster. And so I told her like, no, you may not have that. And of course it's like, you're yuck.
Yeah.
You're yucky.
I know. And the food situation, my kids eat.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah. My kids eat, but the 3 meals a day, but they just feel like they have to have dessert after every meal. But then
that's what I'm saying. That's what we're doing. Right
Xavier is the dessert master. I'm not a big eater. I have never been a big eater.
Like desserts.
Yes, Xavier is like it's a Scruggs thing. They eat and then he'll go and eat a bag like chips. I'm like and then Zeke wants chips or Zeke wants an ice cream sandwich, and it's because
he sees dad having it.
That's the way Xavier is. Xavier is a foodie. My specific child that I'm talking about is Zeke. Like Zeke, I mean, he's not little by any means. I mean, he's 62 pounds.
He weighs,
He's a big boy. Mm-hmm. He's tall. He has Xavier's body type, but he is Xavier. He loves food. Like, again, he eats the 3 meals a day. Like Zeke will eat an 8-ounce filet mignon by himself with like yesterday he ate 3 tacos. Like he likes to eat real food, but he also likes to have dessert.
And snacks, probably.
Yeah. Xander's more of like the gummy snacks and
that's Bianca.
Pop-Tarts and this. But then Xander will also eat, but like Zeke loves food.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good.
Food. But he also eats 5 Oreos.
I'm a yucky mommy because I won't let my kids have snacks anymore.
Yeah, well, again, school's going to help with that.
Yeah, I hope so.
It will. And you're doing
Too bad she couldn't go today.
And then it's funny because Zeke went to the dentist yesterday really quick before we wrap up. And I was like, he eats Oreos and blah, blah, blah. They were like, let me tell you, his teeth are the cleanest we've seen today. And he has no cavities, no nothing. So I texted Xavier right away. I was like, Because we make sure we brush, and you're like afraid.
Do you do 2 times a day brushing?
Sometimes 3.
Oh.
So morning for sure. And then depending if there's a nap or like rest time in the day, like we wash the face, brush the teeth, and then obviously before bed.
Oh, because you nap.
Yeah, Zeke doesn't really nap anymore. He's more of like quiet time, but Xander does nap.
Yeah. Yeah, we cut that nap a long time ago, unfortunately.
I know.
Sebastian napped till he was like about 4-ish, 5. But then Bianca came around, and as she got older, she knew that Sebastian was having
napping, quiet time. Yeah, of course.
And so she eventually we just cut the nap. And she was staying up too late. So I was like, I can't have this.
Yeah, no. If we do nap, every kid in my house has to be up by 2:15.
Mm-hmm.
we're very strict on that.
Because what time do they go to bed?
They're in their bed by 7:30, lights out by 8.
Yeah.
My kids are by 8.
I think we try that, but we probably sleeping by 8:30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with school, it's only going to have to get earlier because my kids are early risers. So
what time do you start school?
8.
Okay.
They have to be there by 8. Last year when I found that out, I was late every day.
There's a school. So they, for those of you that don't know, another reason why I'm homeschooling is because they changed the times.
Oh, that's right.
All the elementary schools. So
yeah, your school that you're supposed to go to was what?
The school that he was supposed to go to starts at like 9:40 or 9:45.
My kids have lived a whole life by 9:40.
Same. What? I was like, absolutely. But the real kicker for me was how late they got out. And I was like, it's almost 4:00 by the time he gets to me, by the time we go home and get a snack, by the time we go to extracurriculars, there's no time to even hang out with him.
Yeah, our school's 8 to 3 and then 8 to 2 on Friday.
Yeah, I know. I looked at your school.
I know we were almost.
It was either that or like what we're doing, but we're just going to try this for now. But the place that he goes to for his core classes, it starts at 8:30. He gets out at 3.
It's perfect.
It's like a normal day.
Those 30 minutes. Here we are. Speaking of help, Judith wants to know if you want her to cook anything tonight.
Well, wonderful. That's nice.
We can end on that note. No, I don't know. Yeah. Well, that was good. This was a really good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed listening.
Yeah, you guys can follow us on it's Yucky Mommy Pod on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep.
We got to get Jess on TikTok, guys. She needs to be active on TikTok.
I know, but anyway, I have an addictive personality. If I get on TikTok, I'm not getting off.
I mean, yeah, it is an addiction. So we got to set timers. But
all my friends are trying. They're trying. So I'm pretty sure when I log in, I have 12 videos from Holly, 12 from my other friend, Sanam, 15 from my other friend. And then like I catch up on what Xavier's posted. That's about it. And then I get off.
Yeah, exactly.
But I put a timer on my phone for social media apps. 1 hour.
That's good though.
1 hour a day. We can talk about that.
Really?
Next time. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, it was nice to chat with you guys again. I'm Jess.
I'm Holly.
And we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Our moms are